Hello and welcome in to the Scottish Football Roundup with myself, Cam, and Muzza. Muzza, how you doing?
I'm not bad, Cammy. How about you?
I'm doing well. It's I know we said we'd do these. Well, I said I'd do these on a Friday, and changed to Thursday just because I've been busy. But we'll be doing these every Sunday, 8 p.m, just to review the weekend in Scottish football, and we'll talk about the European fixtures too. But we'll do that much later in today's stream. Of course, if you're watching these on Twitch, for myself, which is twitch.tv/the Cam Behind the Cab, or Muzza, which is twitch.tv/gmuzz87. We're both live, hopefully. I hope Muzza's live.
We are. I've checked.
But if you're watching YouTube, we do record these live at 8 p.m. every Sunday, and you'll see them some point on Monday or Tuesday, whenever we upload them, to be honest. Just because Twitch really... My camera went out of focus there. But of course, it's been it's not been the busiest weekend in Scottish football just because it was the Scottish League Cup, which we'll get into in a moment. But of course, your team, Partick Thistle, didn't have a game because
I had a free weekend to watch as much football as I wanted.
Yeah, but we'll talk about what you watched as we go on, and what I watched too, and what games I went to.
You went to a few, I think, wasn't it?
I went to 2 games this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But we will start with the Friday night fixture in the League Cup. We'll do the League Cup, then League One and League Two. We'll touch a bit on the football side of the top 4 tiers. I do want to talk about the Scottish, what's it called? The Soccer Direct Sports Challenge Cup.
No, I think is it the SPFL Trust Trophy or something like that?
No. We'll talk about that as well. But the South Challenge Cup final, which took place today, which was from 2 seasons ago. So, pick up that one. But we'll start. I'll show my screen, which will be on the PC Sport, with the opening game and the knockouts of the Scottish League Cup, which saw a Rangers side that hadn't won in 3 games host Dunfermline Athletic, who were the runners-up in Group H behind St Mirren. And safe to say, Rangers won.
Just about.
Goals from Lundstram, Wright, Hadji, and Rebel from Roof gave Rangers a 5-0 win against a Dunfermline side who maybe haven't started off too well in comparison to how they were playing in the
League Cup group.
What did you make of that? What did you make of the game?
It genuinely looked like the Premier League champions versus the team who are sitting second bottom of the championship just now. I did say last time we streamed, obviously there's been extra games since then that we obviously missed out on from last weekend, but Dunfermline, their defence is, like I said, is awful, and going forward they seem to be better, but I don't even think they had a shot on target against Rangers, and
no,
Rangers fully deserved their win. Rangers actually looked really good, but at the same time I think it was more so Dunfermline were just surprisingly poor in defence. Yeah,
of course, we did miss it a weekend in which these 2 teams both played. Dunfermline lost 3-0 to Partick Thistle, I believe.
Yep.
And Rangers lost 1-0 to Dundee United. So we missed it on a lot of chatter regarding those 2 games. But I think, the early optimism, I think I've got a follow there from Pedican. Thank you for the follow, mate. Welcome in. If you do have any alerts as well, then just say them. They'll pop up on my alerts, just so you know, because I'm hosting this stream. And if you do see any alerts from Muzza and you're confused what is going on, it's my alerts, just so you know.
I was just having a wee look there. I think it did come up on my screen for some odd reason as well.
Yeah, I don't know. But, so Dunfermline, I was quite optimistic about them because they looked quite good in the League Cup. Beating Steny 4-1, Dumbarton 5-0, Partick Thistle 4-2, losing only by a goal to St Mirren. But I think they've been found out early in the Championship / League Cup knockouts campaign. So it could be a long season for them.
Yeah, they're struggling with their centre backs. Graham, going by Dunfermline fans, is not up to standards for them. I believe they've got Lithuanian internationalist on the bench every week, and that guy there. They've got him on the bench every week, and they've also signed Breen, I believe, from Rangers as well, on a permanent 2-year deal. And they've got these two guys who have got plenty of championship experience, and they're sitting on the bench ahead of people who were playing for like Cove and stuff last season, you know. So Dunfermline fans aren't too happy, and they're also not happy with the three at the back. So it's good to know my predictions are staying going solid when it comes to Dunfermline conceding goals galore.
Yeah, we did kind of touch on it too. Rangers lost 3 games in a row. For the first time in quite a while, when it was they lost twice to Malmo in the Champions League qualifiers, which knocked them down into the Europa League playoff. And the other result was the Dundee United loss. But you can say they bounced back, but I still think it's hard to kind of tell just because it was a Dunfermline side who, well,
are lacking confidence.
Yeah, aren't the best, let's just say, in comparison to Rangers. They're not a Premiership side. They, I kind of back them to do fresh in those Premiership playoff spots, as I've done the last couple of seasons. But the difference between the two sides, Rangers, the Premiership champions, Dunfermline, Premiership hopefuls. You expect the Rangers to win that. So I don't think we look too much into that game as a whole.
Nope.
But we'll move on to the next game because I had enough of talking about Rangers already.
I know.
United, the team I already mentioned there, taking on Ayr United at Somerset Park. And a game which was almost an upset, let's just say. You can see at the top there. Ayr United 1, Dun United 1. Adeloy in the 56th minute scoring for Ayr before Baird was sent off, and Nicky Clark moved a penalty to send the game in on the penalties.
Yep.
Read it. Oh.
Is that Reedy?
Aye. I don't know who he's asking to get sacked and whatnot. But Dun United went on to win the game on penalties, which from what I've been told, I didn't have a chance to watch the game as I was live. Was I live at the time? I don't even know if I was live at the time. I don't think I was.
I happened to be doing a watch along for that game, and although the footage wasn't the best, I managed to make up most of it. The camera was struggling to follow the ball now and again.
I went to extra time as well, sorry. Aye. But by the looks of it here, I can find the stats, that is. Ayr United having more shots on target, less possession as expected by a lower league side, but took them all the way to penalties. So
the first half Ayr were just kind of kicking the ball long. Hopkins, well known for having teams that like to go long ball. He won the championship playoffs against actually Thistle a good few seasons back with Livingston when they were just kind of a long ball kind of strong team in the air and all that rubbish. And he seems to have brought that to when he was at Morton as well, I believe, and then now he's brought it to Ayr. So the first half they weren't too great, but the second half they played on the deck and deserved the lead. And if it wasn't for Seagraston goals for Dundee United, Ayr United would have been for Dundee United, then Ayr United would have been out of sight and wouldn't have had to worry. So yeah, Dundee United got really lucky in the end. And like I said a couple of weeks back, Dundee United, I expect to be down the bottom of the Premier League. And from what I've seen, nothing changes that. Yes, they beat Rangers last week, but at the same time, Dundee United they defended well against Rangers, and Rangers never really were up to their usual selves,
Yeah. Since the last time we did speak, Lawrence Shanklin has moved on from Dundee United to Beerschot in the Pro League in Belgium, and they brought in Mark McNulty on loan from Reading once again. But what you're saying there is it's going to be a long season for the Paradise side.
They've not been convincing at all.
Yeah, it's hard to disagree with that. Their basically took on Stennismuir midweek in the
that SPFL trust.
That's going to talk about a bit. I'm looking at the bench here. Mulcray, Freeman, Nielsen, Newman and Duffy all played in there, but nothing to really convince that they could push into that first team. with Dundee United. So the fact that they are losing, they've lost Thursday, I don't know if it has put them on the bench because they thought maybe it needed a tie. But if that's the backups, I think they are in for a long season. Because nothing against the lads, they played well, but I don't think they'll be good enough to step up into that first team. But we got the other side of that road, Paradise to Dens Park. Dundee beating Motherwell for a goal from Lee Ashcroft with Paul McMillan with the assist. It's been a so-so start for both sides. I think Dundee were hammered quite convincingly of the Celtic last weekend, where Celtic, right, Furuhashi scored the hat-trick that game, but they've come into this game against Motherwell. I think it's hard to say who's the better out of the two. But when I done the show with Muzza yesterday, which you would have seen on my channel, if you're watching this, we spoke about this game, and I backed Dundee to win just because I think they've got up just a bit more than Motherwell, because Motherwell are a bit of a so-so side at the moment, especially with guys like Charlie Adam in there, who we all know how good he can be. He was in the Championship last season, and I thought he was good enough for the Premiership. Paul McMillan, number 18, was signed from Dundee United across the road. A player that I highly rate. Yeah, he might not have hit the heights that he could have, but did get the assist. Jason Cummings as well up front. I mean, yeah. A fan. Everyone seems to be a fan of then Kubiak, former Watford striker, another guy that, a big name. But did you have the chance to watch this game?
Funny enough, it's one of the few that I've not. Yesterday's Premier Sports Cup games I've not really had a good chance to see unless I was actually watching them. So no, sadly not. All you've got is what you can read in front of you, I'm afraid.
Well, all I can read in front of me is that Dundee made it through and Motherwell didn't. So you know that what you will.
I mean, on the plus side, all I can say regarding the two teams is Motherwell, again, kind of similar to Dundee United, have not been convincing.
Yeah.
And Dundee, obviously, it's hard to judge when they played Celtic because Celtic, when they're in that kind of form, they'll destroy most teams in the league. So, so it's Dundee probably maybe just deserved to go through, and that was about it, maybe.
Yeah, we'll have a look at the other Saturday game, which was Livingston taking on St Mirren, both Premiership sides. A goal from Alan Forrest, younger brother of James Forrest, to put Livingston in front before a McCarthy goal sent the game to extra time. Game couldn't have any more goals until it went to penalties, and Livingston squeezed through 4-3 on penalties. Max Strijic was the heroic keeper in the shootout, from what I can see here. But I've not had a chance to have a look much at these games. But myself and Muzza were discussing this game yesterday. We just said that both sides will be towards the bottom end of the table, most likely, just because their side really have that player that you potentially push them up a bit. Livingston for the last couple of seasons have been mid-tables. Potentially they could do it again, but I don't think, looking at that squad there, is there anyone in there that, stands out as a player that will push them?
I mean, for what it's worth, I did rate Forrest. I always thought Forrest was semi-decent. Bruce Anderson was he on loan at, I think it was Hamilton last season.
I believe so.
And you see how they ended, they were.
Yeah.
So no, I think, no, not really.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, Livingston made it through, but at the end of the day, it was one of those teams I don't think you could call, really. Not because it's two, quality teams with each other. It's just two teams that are so-so.
St Mirren, obviously, last season, even the season before, done really well. And I don't know, they started the season with a draw against Dundee. What was the score last week again? I can't even remember. But it was probably wasn't a hard result to predict, kind of thing. A draw and going to penalties, like you said, kind of evenly matched.
Yeah, before we do move on to today's results, welcome in, Jim Jam. Hope you're well.
Happening.
But we'll talk about the first of today's games, which took place at Starks Park. Which last time we were talking about the 4-4 draw there, and we've seen another not really an upset there, but another big game. Raith Rovers putting out Aberdeen, who are one of the better sides in the Premiership. Goals from Varane and Zanata after J. Emmanuel Thomas put Aberdeen in front. Quite a poor result for the Aberdonians, wouldn't you say?
Well, I watched this game, and the first half Aberdeen was surprisingly quite good, even though they'd made quite a few changes. I mean, if you look at the lineups, you'll see there was, I think, players like Hedges, Ramsey, Brown, Ramirez. All of them were not even playing, you know. So they looked like they were. And there's Ferguson as well. And Considine. So they had a lot of their main players out. However, Aberdeen, for whatever reason, I thought were great the first half, considering, and I thought maybe Aberdeen have got something here this season that they can make the changes and still win games. However, and can I just say, Jet's goal was pretty good. He caught it on like a half volley and it just flew into the net. McDonald didn't even stand a chance. I think he dived after the ball was in the net. But the second half, however, Raith were more than worthy winners and seemed to pick it up and actually looked pretty decent. So Zanata, I think the winning goal was Zanata. The Aberdeen defender hesitated, went to kick it away, and Zanata just jumped in front of him. The player couldn't obviously kick it, he would have gave away a penalty, and Zanata just managed to blast it for about 7-8 yards out or something.
Yeah, earlier on, which we'll talk about what game was that in a bit, but when we're looking at the score, it was just like none of us really backed Raith Rovers to win. Yeah, we know they are one of the better teams in the Championship, but you think even with the changes Aberdeen made, they still put a strong squad out, and it would be enough to knock out the Championship side, but they didn't. So Raith Rovers going to the quarterfinals. We'll talk about the draw once we finish all the games. Do you have any more comments, or we think you move on to the next one?
I just move on to the next one, buddy. Sorry. I think, as I said, the Raith were worthy winners.
Yeah, this was another game which almost caused an upset. Arbroath and St Johnstone going all the way to penalties. Arbroath took the lead twice from Newell and O'Brien. O'Brien's goal was in extra time. Middleton's goal sent it to extra time. And then McCart scored an extra time, sent to penalties. You can see there, Kea missed a penalty, and I think Middleton scored from that. I'm not too sure. I've not had the chance to see it yet. But you might know.
No, I've you know something I've not actually. I didn't see this game. It was. I could have had it, but again, it was one of those ones like the camera was away, so I just nah.
Yeah, but Arbroath doing well to take the game all the way to penalties against the St Johnstone side, who haven't really hit the form yet this season. Yes, they have some impressive results. That 1-1 draw in Turkey at Galatasaray to be remembered, but
they've drew every domestic game, I believe.
Aye.
Yeah, they've drew every domestic game. Well, apart from the group stages, no, they weren't even in the group stages. They've drew every domestic game so far. So I'll tell you something about Arbroath. See that striker for Arbroath? I don't even know how to pronounce his name. Nubel or whatever. For what I've seen of him so far, last week he scored against Ayr and it was a cracking shot. I mean, he cut inside and curled it with his right foot right into the other side of the goal, and obviously scored again today. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's only on loan for Livingston. Livingston, I think, signed him and then loaned him out, and he's like 25-year-old, so it's not even as if he's a youngster. But no, he was a good. He looks a handful for any team. So yeah,
but that's another result. I thought Arbroath could have done it, but of course, going to that penalty shootout, St Johnstone did make a change in goal where Parish came out for Nicky Clark to go in, and Nicky Clark done enough to put Saints through, We'll move on.
Sorry, I need to interrupt. Did you just say Nicky Clark?
Is it Nicky Clark? Sander Clark, sorry.
Sander Clark. I was like, I said Dundee United striker. He's done pretty well.
He's done well. Getting from the game yesterday too. We'll move on to the next game, the second last game of the games this round. Hibernian versus Kilmarnock. McGuinness and Nisbet put the Hibs team through after being knocked out in the Europa League conference group, whatever it's called, midweek. So I'm not a chance to have a proper look at them, but it was a game that I expected Hibs to win. Kilmarnock, we spoke about them a couple of weeks ago, not looking the strongest offensively, but they're up against a team another team that are expected to be up towards the top 8 of the Premiership. And the fact is that they weren't able to really have much of an effect on them, unlike Raith Rovers, who beat Aberdeen. Then maybe with high expectations on the Kilmarnock, when maybe they don't merit it at the moment.
I think Kilmarnock's an interesting one. So obviously against the first kind of game of the season against Ayr, they won that 2-0, but I wouldn't say they were convincing, but they were good enough to win the game. You could see that. The same last week, they scored a last minute winner against Queen of the South through Naismith, and yeah, it's going to be hard to judge Kilmarnock. Kilmarnock came down, and they, like most teams apart from Hearts and whatever else, have found it hard in the Championship, and I genuinely think Kilmarnock will fall into that, but only time will tell.
Yeah, I don't think there's much else really to say about this. Hibernian through.
Yeah, Hibernian have started the season well, to be fair to them, apart from their midweek game against Rijeka.
Yeah. And the final game in the League Cup saw Celtic, right or wrong, a couple of weeks ago, and beat Hearts this time. Goals from Odston Edouard, Stephen Welsh, and Furuhashi put them 3-1 in front because the boys did score from the spot. And then a late goal from McInnes gave Hearts a wee bit of hope, but not enough to worry the Parkhead side. I've not had a chance to look at much of this game, but I think it was, looking at the stats there, Celtic expected to win, and they made good on that promise, let's just say.
I think Celtic are slowly improving, and yes, the game is 3-2 and stuff like that, and I never got to see it, but the fact that Celtic are now turning their possession into wins is only going to bode them well, and I'm sure they'll be able to challenge Rangers a lot better than what they did last season, that's for sure.
I think the only issue with the Celtic side is defensively. Hearts only had 5 shots, comparison to Celtic's 36. And Hearts scored twice. At defence there, Ralston, Welsh, Starkveld and Taylor, Joe Hart goals. I don't think that's good enough to challenge Rangers, but at the same time, are Rangers going to be good enough to challenge for that as well? Well,
straight away, Rangers have already lost one game this season, whereas last season they went unbeaten, so it's straight away they're more even this season if Rangers are going to drop points.
Yeah, but it's one of the things. I don't think their defence will be good enough. I think they'll have to get a centre back in here to do Julian, but he's still injured. And then again, if he gets injured again, you're relying on him, then you might be screwed.
I mean, funnily enough, one of the goal scorers was Welsh today. I noticed that. So fair play to the lad, and then even Ralston as well. He's scored 2 goals. Two goals in the previous 2 games before today. So yeah, I mean the boys are doing all right, but it's a shame, like you said, they're defensively they're maybe not up to it, but they're chipping in with the goals.
Yeah, Hearts managing to get the 2 goals in that game. A team which I think they went a bit more defensive. Stephen Kingsley's a left back. It looks like he's playing a centre back, so you can tell they're pretty much sitting back to defend in that game.
Yeah, I'm trying to work that out a wee bit, because is Cochrane no a midfielder as well?
I don't know if that's the same Cochrane you think of, because Harry Cochrane's Queen of the South now.
Fair enough. Oh well.
But yeah, Celtic through, I think, deservedly, you can say. But we'll have a look at the draw, if I can find it. Yeah, this is the knockout. Well, this is the draw for the quarterfinals. Celtic versus Raith Rovers, Dundee versus St Johnstone, Dundee United versus Hibernian and Rangers versus the Livingston. Surprise, surprise, the Old Firm Care apart.
Those lovely heated balls as usual.
But as I said, it's hard. Well, it's always hard to predict among points in the advance, but I think we could be seeing Celtic and Johnson and Hibernian Rangers semi-final. But
well, I'll go the other way then. I'll say Celtic, Dundee United and Rangers, right? I'll say all the home teams to win.
We'll have to wait and see. But if I can find my way back to the Scottish football bit on this website, we'll start talking about the Scottish League One counters, which took place yesterday. The first one, we'll start off in the lovely place called Airdrie.
Right.
Airdrieonians hosting Falkirk. And, well, safe to say, wasn't the best from Airdrie. Let's just say, even though, looking at the stats, they dominated the game, but Falkirk got 2 goals. They did get a red card just for half time. But I'm assuming most of those shots from that would have come from the second half from Airdrie.
Yeah, it's annoying me a wee bit just now because I did watch these highlights. For what it's worth, I think Airdrie's goal was actually a no bad one. I think the boy kept running with it and drilled it into the bottom corner, but I might be thinking of the wrong game, which is not too good. And then Falkirk. Oh, it's so annoying that I forgot these highlights already. It's because they're so short. I need to get used to this Sunday stuff. I need to do my homework a bit better. But no, Falkirk look like they're a lot better than what they were last season for sure. They've got a bit more pace, I think. Yeah. Nisbet seems to be providing a lot of creativity for them. Morrison was quite good last season, regardless, anyway. But no, I think Falkirk will be happy that they managed to hang on. There was a couple of scares, I believe, for them, but they will be happy that they managed to win that and find themselves joint top after 3 games with Queen's Park and Montrose.
Yeah, we'll get onto it in a bit, but of course, I don't know how that shows up in the game, because I said that most of their shots could have been in that second half.
Yeah.
With that extra man heading towards the end of the game. But the fact that Falkirk, in a game like this last season, I think they would have crumbled and maybe lost.
Oh, definitely.
Definitely. The fact is that they're beating Airdrie, a team that they haven't started the best, but a team that went up towards that were fighting with Falkirk at the top end of League One last season. They're beating them. It's good shine, good sign to the Grangemouth team. But once again, early doors, you have to wait and see how they do overall.
Well, I did say as well at the start that through what I've seen, Airdrie will be down and struggling down the kind of bottom half of the table this time, and that's again early on. That's how it's proven to be, and I think what you'll find is that top 4 that's right there. It'll be the top 4 that finishes the season, I think.
Yeah. We're going to move on to the next game, which I think was the biggest shock. And out the weekend, Clyde 2, Alloa Athletic 1. Not going to lie, I thought Clyde would have got hammered here following their midweek loss to Broomhill in the Trust Trophy. But I was proven wrong. A brace by Mr. Goodwillie. Highlight side, our goal from Skugel was enough to earn Clyde their first points of the season. Even though, by the looks of it was more or less a bit of a lucky game. Bit of a lucky game for them. 3 shots, 2 goals, 3 shots on target. So
yeah, but that's what they say. Goals win games. I mean, Allo only had 2 shots on target. I mean, you can have 500 shots and only 1 of them on target. But for what it's worth, Clyde are turning into last-minute goal specialists, because I believe they scored a last-minute equaliser against Montrose last week as well. But regarding the Clyde and Broomhill game, I do know for a fact that Clyde 100%, like I think I've already said, don't take that cup too seriously, and I wouldn't have looked too much into it. I think Clyde made 79 changes from the team that actually drew with Montrose. So, yeah, but no, I think it was still a wee bit of a shock. I expected Allo to be a bit better this season, and so far they've been not too convincing either. So, Definitely a great result for Clyde.
Yeah, you're talking about Clyde making changes midweek, so is Broomhill. So,
but
we'll move on to the next game. We are about half an hour in, but I do want to get through these so we can talk about the Trust Trophy and what of it. Cove Rangers, well, we're getting into gear, let's say, and hammering East Fife 5-2. Goal from Leach and McAllister, with Megson scoring a hat trick. Put Cove, gave Cove the 5 goals, and a penalty from McManus there, and a goal from Smith for the consolation goals for the Fife side. But Cove Rangers, do you think they're finally getting into a bit of the groove this season?
Well, that result seems to suggest so. Again, it's hard to judge because, again, early on, but East Fife might even actually be bottom of the league just now.
They are.
Yeah, so it's hard to judge that they've not started too well themselves. East Fife were quite a stubborn team last season. I think they picked up a lot of short results and were really hard to beat. So something's obviously changed at East Fife for them to be struggling so early on. But yeah, Cove have got the players there to definitely be challenging for that league. So to win 5-2 definitely lets the other clubs know that they're not here just to make up the numbers and challenge for fourth. They want to go for the title.
Yeah, of course. They did kind of fall towards the end of last season. As did a few teams in that league, especially after the amount of games they're playing in a short period of time. Returning on the 20th of March, having to play 10 games before the end of the next month with all the playoffs and whatnot, cup competitions. It was a bit difficult, but this could be a season to push on. Yeah, they had a slow start, a draw, and a loss, but
yeah, they lost to Queen's Park last week.
Yeah, as I said, they could be getting in a groove. That 5-2 win could be enough for them to get in a groove. But as I said, we'll have a look at the next weekend's fixtures to see if that's it, or is it going to be more of the same of a couple wins here and a couple losses there. But we'll move on to another one of the title contenders, Montrose. I think out of the 4 teams, I think most fans will back them just because they're not, I'm going to go into our team, but not heavily invested in like the other teams. A 1-0 win for Montrose, Webster with a penalty against Peterhead in a game which had 30 shots and the only goal came from a penalty. So
that's a bit mental,
But Montrose, as I said, unbeaten, still in the league with 7 points. You can see on the right hand side of the screen there. Peterhead having another team for the last couple of seasons that will pick out, will get shock results. They beat Alloa in the opening day of the season, of course. But as I said, I'm pretty sure I said then, I wouldn't expect them to do much overall.
No, you didn't.
But it's one of those things that they will get the short results here and there, but when they come against teams like Montrose, Montrose will nullify them, I think.
I mean, to be fair, I think obviously the fact that they lost 1-0 to Montrose, like I just said, Montrose have always been there or thereabouts since the playoffs have been introduced, as far as I can remember, at least the last few years anyway. And I think, kind of similar to last season, I wouldn't be surprised if Montrose do sneak that fourth spot. But no, I would say that they started the season really well, Montrose, and deservedly have 7 points out of 9. And obviously they dropped their 2 points to Clyde last week, as I said, with Clyde scoring. In fact, Clyde actually scored, I think, in the 88th and 90th minute.
I think so,
yeah. So that was obviously a bit of a shock. Montrose could have easily been sitting on 9 out of 9 if they never had that last 5-minute collapse.
Yeah, it's one of those things that maybe defensively towards that few minutes, teams like Clyde, who will go who have shown to go at it for the last couple of minutes, could cause them issues. But as I said, I think at the end of the season they'll be up towards the top of the table. Hopefully, I do quite like Montrose. You mentioned about them being the playoffs. They were the first side involved in the relegation playoff from League 2 out to the Highland Alone League, but won it.
Oh, really?
And then rebuilt over the next couple of seasons, won the League 2, and they've been in League 1 ever since and fighting towards promotion to the Championship. So, there's a fact here.
That's often.
We'll move on to the final game in League 1, Queen's Park. Big money spenders, Queen's Park beating the leaders at the time, Dumbarton, 3-0. Goals from Murray, Longridge, and Brown were enough to seal the 3 points at Firhill. Dumbarton's quick start kind of followed out a wee bit in the last week.
As I said, I think Dumbarton will be fine this season, though. Well, for what I've seen, but 4 points for the first 3 games is probably close to what they picked up last season in total. But no, it was no. I think Queens Park are going to be too strong for the majority of the teams in the league, apart from maybe your Falkirk and Cove, and maybe Montrose. But Queens Park, in my opinion, as it stands from what I've seen from them, are probably the favourites for that league. Last week they picked up a great result against Cove. Don't get me wrong, the Cove goalkeeper did help Queens Park a wee bit last week. And this week I didn't watch, I've seen the highlights. And Murray looks like a real handful in that division. And he took his goal well, hit it with his right foot on the left side of the box, curled it kind of past the goalkeeper. No, I definitely think Queens Park are going to beat the majority of the teams this season. I think the fact that they drew their first game against
East Fife
is a wee shock and shows you that it will be tight between, like I said, the top kind of 4 teams. But yeah, Queens Park deservedly sit top just now with the biggest goal difference.
Yeah. When you look at that Queens Park side, a lot of those players are a bit more common known there. Simon Murray, formerly of Hibernian, Bobby Hugh came on for him, known towards being a player towards the top end of the championship. And then like saw Louis Longridge, the left winger there, I think that's Grant Gillespie in midfield. But then Willie Moore in goals, the player that's been with them for years as when they were an amateur, and he's moved up.
I could be wrong. I think that's Tommy Robson at left back as well. He used to play with Thistle and Dundee United, I believe.
Yeah.
So yeah, they've definitely got the.
Even on the bench, just look there.
McHugh or whatever his name is.
Yeah, Paul McHugh. You've got Lee Kildare. Callum Yates got from Hibernian, was at Strathmere last season. Yeah,
so they've definitely got some good enough players to be challenging for that league.
Yeah, pass it Dumbarton. Not so
I know.
much.
I always thought Geoghegan was a centre back.
Not playing him at right.
Centre mid. Jeez, there you go, playing it right back.
But you can see there the league table. We'll push it up into the full screen. Queens Park. Actually, I'll extend that a bit more so people can see and they'll have to see your ugly faces. Queens Park's at the top. Only seen 1 goal so far. East Fife are bottom. They've scored 4. Fair to them, but I can see 9 in the process. Montrose, Falkirk, and Cove fill the top 4. Dumbarton drop into 5th position. Clyde, Peterhead, Alloa, the Airdrieonians could be in for a long season, but as I said, 3 games in, early doors. But it's not looking good for Alloa, who were relegated from the championship last season.
Yeah, they'll be running a wee bit scared if they don't start getting results in soon.
But we'll look at Scottish League 2, and we'll start off with the Friday night fixture as Edinburgh City hosted Stenhousemuir at Ainsley Park. I know a lot about this game, but I think you look at the stats there, and I've said this on Muzza. I was doing a stream with Muzza yesterday. I think we're much the better team than Edinburgh.
The stats seem to suggest so.
Yeah, but if you don't take your chances, you don't get the win. The goal from Shanley. It says there's an assist by McIntyre. No. Nicky Jameson failed to control a ball. Shanley took it off him and Shanley scored. But that was much against another play. And something to worry about who were. Most of those 16 shots would have came in that first half hour. That's the dominant way were. But they went to half time when they're down. He came out immediately within 10 seconds of worried that penalty you can see there. Tamworth stepped up and it was saved by Brian Swake, the Lunston American loanee. And after that, the game just fizzled out. Warriors didn't look like scoring at all. Edinburgh should have scored a few more, but we're happy to sit back and defend.
It doesn't bode well for Stenhousemuir as it stands that they're not taking their chances, because I predicted that Edinburgh would probably be in the bottom 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So for Edinburgh to win that game, I mean, the fact that you said that Stenhousemuir kind of controlled the game, or at least were the better team over the majority of the game, suggests that maybe yes, Edinburgh still will struggle. However, like I said, Stenhousemuir, it's not looking good for you so far, but the only positive is you're playing good enough. You just need to turn your chances into goals.
Yeah, the lineup we did have on Friday night was this. Well, the midfield wasn't correct at all. O'Reilly sat in front of a Diamond Wedderburn at the back, Christian the right, Brown on the left, which someone Stephen Swift has used quite a bit and utilises it with a lot of different midfielders in there. Ross Forbes is usually on there on the right hand side, came out, so it was a bit more wide. But they said it's not something that not really working for us. Edinburgh playing, I think it was more or less a 4-4-2. Able just to kind of sit back, absorb the pressure, and when chances came for them, which they were given a lot, as we were quite poor defensively, took them, and that's probably to say deservedly got the 3 points because we were poor against them. But as I said, it's early days, but yeah, Edinburgh move amongst us. We will have a look at the full league table. This is the as it stood table from Friday night. So once we've talked about all the games, we'll have a look at the full league table. But on to the next games, we'll start off Kirby Stranraer, which was postponed. Because Kirby couldn't field a team because of players being in isolation due to COVID. I know there was I know Falkirk fans weren't happy with this because they tried to get their opening game against Cove called off due to players not having trained. But the difference was Kirby didn't have a squad to play. Falkirk did.
Yeah, so if you've got a squad
out of isolation.
Yeah, I think to be fair to the SPFL or whatever it is, I think they did state if you've got a big enough squad, then you must play. It's not, it's which I think is fair enough. If you've got a squad of 20, 25 players or whatever, then you should, if you can field 2 teams plus a full bench, then you should be allowed. You should be told to play.
Yeah. Before we do move on to the next game, if you are watching on Twitch currently, both myself and Team Muzza are live. Team Muzza is Team Muzza 87. I am the cam behind the cam. So if you're watching on the other person stream, feel free to come over and give the other person a follow. But if you're also watching YouTube, same thing. Come watch us live 8 p.m. every Sunday as we talk about Scottish football. So
yeah, join in the chat.
Yeah, join in the chat. Give us your thoughts on the games. All to do with Scottish football. But we'll move on to the next game in League 2. Annan Athletic 3, Stirling Albion 1. I don't know if there isn't Stirling fans still in the chat. XLS or Reading as he's called.
I was just about to say the same.
But not going to lie, I called this a mile off. When I was talking about it yesterday, I said Annan will win. Because Stirling looked poor against Denny. They won, but they looked poor. But yes, but when I saw Annan score twice within a minute, it didn't surprise me at all. Stirling haven't really hit since their League Cup campaign, they've looked poor. The fact that they pulled one back in the 73rd minute to make it 2-1, but Annan had enough about them to just say nap and score again. As Annan do, to be honest, they do it a lot. But yeah, apart from that, Stirling Albion, it's one of the things where they will get caught out a lot of times just because I don't rate a lot of the team they have. Yeah, they're good players, but the McNiff is quite a slow player. I think.
Is that see the Carrick boy up front? Is that Dale Carrick that was?
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, he's not too bad.
Yeah, but I'm saying like McNiff, for example, is quite a slow left back. If you have a speedy winger against him, he'll get caught out a lot. But yeah, the fact is that on the bench they don't really have anyone that can come on make the change. There was when Dylan BK he signed the number 9 to be signed. There was a lot of talk about him being good because he was good in his first Stallone spell, but hasn't really hit those heights again. Dylan Mackin was sent off in that opening game against Warriors at Oakview. Came back in for this game and, well, I'm not going to lie, didn't really rate him too much when he played against us. He caused his issues, but one of these players that, not going to lie, won't do the work as such. He's a bigger lad, let's just say, but he'll put his body around, but he won't chase down, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Aaron team, always like Aaron team, they've had players there for years. Swinglehurst, bad memories from his header, Whitney getting Warriors. Moxon's been there for a few years, Docherty, Wallace, Douglas too, and then Greg Fleming goes. I
feel as if he's pretty old.
Played at a lot of teams. Most recently, Worcester and Ra before signing for Aaron. He played for Peterhead, played for Stennismuir, he's played for everyone, let's just say. But the next game, do you have any more comments about that game, or we'll move on?
No, you basically covered it. I mean, still in Albion have surprised me a wee bit because, like you said, the group was, as far as I'm aware, they had a couple of no bad performances in the group stages of the Cup, and they've started the season. They've shocked me a wee bit. I thought they would have been further up the table a few games in. So, but yeah, I think that's that.
Yeah, we'll move on to the next game. Elgin City convincingly beat Albion Rovers. I'm not going to lie, was to be expected. Kane Hester hat-trick. You can see by the stats as well, I think it was quite deserved. Albion Rovers, we played them last weekend. We haven't spoken about last weekend's game, but they scored twice. It was a 2-2 draw. They won the opening game of the season, but they didn't look impressive against us. And yeah, against Elgin, they were quite handily beaten. So, when we have a look at lineups, the Elgin City lineup, something to be expected. They've got the two Dingwalls in there. Russell and Tony Dingwall, both formerly of Ross County.
I know, that's amazing. I was just about to say that. Imagine playing for Ross County and your name's actually Dingwall. It's amazing.
But, as I said, Albion Rovers, not looking too good for them. Yeah, they started off 4 points from 2 games, but I think the game against Elgin City has kind of shown where they could be this season. That team that will, I think they might be safe, but they'll be towards the lower reaches come May.
Yeah, I don't think there'll be in any trouble with the playoff going down. I think they'll, like you said, in the mid-table, and it depends on what the other teams do. They might challenge to go for that 4th place, but you'll not know that kind of stuff until about 10 games to go or something,
Yeah. And then said Elgin as well. A team that I think will be in the top half this season. They do have a decent enough squad to go up, picking up, same as Albion Rovers, 4 points in the 3 games. But the fact is that when you compare them here, they're both more or less the same points. Elgin better goal difference by 2. The fact that Elgin are beating Albion Rovers convincingly does say a lot, I think, about the season that both teams will have. Elgin will have a good season. Albion Rovers, once again, not so much.
Mm-hmm.
But we look into the final game in League 2, because there's 4 games this weekend, of course. And it was
a league clash.
It was the big 2, Forth Athletic against Kelly Hearts. The Forth Athletic went ahead twice, goal from Aitken, and then Thompson put them to, give them 2 goals. Nathan Austin with the 2 goals for Kelly Hearts. Once again, I wasn't too surprised to finish a draw. I know people are raving on about Kelly Hearts this season just because the squad they have. But once again, you can see by stats there, they had a lot of shots, but didn't convert. Forth were converting the chances they had. So, yeah, what's your thoughts on that game?
Well, I've seen the highlights of this one. I thought I like to follow Kelty Hearts just for ex-Thistle links and stuff, but I'm trying to remember the first goal now. I can't really remember Forth's first goal, but the Austin is a huge player for Kelty. This was his first game that he came back. He was actually started on the bench and get subbed on after 15 minutes or so. Yeah. But I think Austin is going to be huge for Kelty. I think he'll scored quite a few this season. He already has, actually. I think he scored quite a few in pre-season and in the Cup as well for them. So, no, he started well. But when you look at their front line, take out Biaby and put in Austin, you've got Higginbottom, Cardone, Biaby. They're going to cause teams problems all season. Tidser, Barjonas have both got Championship and even League One experience. Aware, same again. He's got he's been Championship Defender of the Season and all that before, and Forster's just a big lump, man. He's
Dundee.
So no, but they've got a great team, I think, Kelly, as I said, for that league anyway. And I still believe that they will win the league. Yeah. Forster's second goal was a counter attack. It literally was just one guy just ran through. It was crazy. But Austin, I think his second goal was a header back across goal, and yeah, no, I think the game ended the way that most people thought it would. The fact that it's the two teams that had started probably the strongest out of everybody. So yeah, it'll be interesting how they go. But I definitely think Kelty's. In fact, I've even got a bet on that Kelty will win the league. So we'll wait and see.
Well, you wait and see. But we look at the league table. Kelty Hearts sit top of the table on goals scored. With 7 compared to 4 for 6. Apologies if you hear my dogs. But An Athletic sit on 6 points following the win against Stirling Albion. And Elgin City rounded up top 4. Albion Rovers and Cowdenbeath still Albion Edinburgh City, all with a win under their belts. Of course, Cowdenbeath only have played 2 games so far. I do apologise for any noise you hear in the background, both of us. And then the two teams starting, the two other teams starting for Stennis and Stranraer fell at the bottom 2, of course. Stranraer only played 1 game so far, which I'm thankful for, because seeing Stennis bomb kill me at this stage. But as I said, it's not looking too good for the Warriors. Of course, we did kind of mention we're not going to touch too much on the 5th tier anymore, because I think it does take a lot of time because there's a lot of teams in there. But there's 2 results in particular I do want to mention, if I can find it on here, that is.
I've got a funny feeling who I know it will be, but it'd be interesting if we could see the lineups as well, if possible.
Oh shit, I'm the wrong thing. I don't know how to check the lineups in this, not gonna lie, not Muzza. But the 2 B teams in the Lone League, Rangers B9, Gretna 2008-1, and then Vale leaving 0, Celtic B10.
I'm just about to get the Rangers B lineup here for examples. I believe it's on Rangers B Twitter.
If you share your screen, I should be able to show it on screen as well.
Yeah, give me 2 seconds. I'm just having a wee look if you want to talk about it.
Yeah, 2 B sides staking a claim to be in the league. Maybe 2 weeks above, which north of the time being. But the fact is that Vale leaving. When you talk to Lone League, people with a bit more knowledge of the lower leagues in Scotland and us too, Vale leaving our team that are expected to be bottom of the table. And the fact that a B side's putting 10 past them does set a statement, I think. But at the same time, when Rangers be putting 9 past Gretna, who are a stronger team than Vale leaving, how much will Vale leaving concede to Rangers?
I mean, I've got the team here. I will quickly go on.
Share your screen.
Yeah, I'm just about to. I don't know what screen it's about to share first. I need to watch what I'm doing here.
Yeah, you can set up.
There we go. Sorted.
But we can see. You might want to take away your chat.
I know. I just noticed that. Like I said, I didn't know it was showing up. To be fair, I'm a wee bit shocked. I thought Hasty and Katic was playing. I believe some Rangers fans said that, but in fact, I'm not going to be biased here. It's a few Rangers fans said they were playing, but they clearly weren't.
The rules state that if they are in the first team squad for Rangers, they can't play for the B team.
They can't. So, but it must have been
two different teams. So if they are playing as a transfer.
So I think it was it Dumbarton at Katic? It might have been Dumbarton in the.
Yeah, we can have a look at that.
I'm sure there was a few first team players and people weren't happy about it. But anyway, Budinakis in goals. I think I've heard that name a wee bit. Devine as well. He was on loan. I'm sure he was on loan at a championship team recently. In fact, he may actually be on loan at somebody just now.
No, he's a Rangers.
No,
Rangers
you're not
player.
allowed. You're not allowed.
No, he's a Rangers B player.
So Fraser King. I'm not going to lie. I don't really notice too many names, to be fair to them. I know he's semi-decent as well. Richie Hostler, I've seen him a few times. But no, they're still. I just don't think it's fair that these teams are in the league. I get that their fellow opponents allowed them in. So all these Vela Leithen and the University of Stirling and all of that all did agree to allow Celtic and Rangers be in. I'm not sure on the. I'm assuming that if Rangers and Celtic B finish first and second, third place technically gets the playoff game. But it's silly. It really is. It really is silly that Rangers B and Celtic B are in these tournaments when their teams, like I said, last season. Well, it wasn't last season's Challenge Cup. It was actually the season before. They played. Rangers got to the semi-final, so their team's clearly capable of pulling results. And yeah, they're just too strong for the leagues. And yes, it's getting experience for them, but it's no fair on the other teams that they're playing against. Basically, that it can be quite embarrassing and soul destroying, and actually make you end your career as a footballer, especially if you're a goalkeeper. You know, it's. I remember years and years ago, a wee bit out with Scottish football now. Villarreal played some team and won something like 24-0 or something. And Villarreal got absolutely slated for it because it was like they were basically playing a full strength team against like effectively a bunch of postmen, you know, and it was not looked down nicely from the higher up ends of the La Liga. So yeah, it's just you could go on and go on. Some people agree with it, some people won't. I personally don't.
Yeah, we're going to have a look at the Scottish the SPFL Trust Trophy, which took place midweek. There's still one game to be played, I believe, and that's Edinburgh City versus Hearts Midlothian. Will take place on Tuesday night. We'll rush through it because, as I said, once again, a lot of games. I don't want to waste our time here. Fraserburgh lost one at Cownbeef to a Buchanan goal in the last minute. I think Cownbeef are expected to win that. But now, I think they'll be missing not only on missed Saturday's game, I think they'll be missing next weekend's game against Tennismere due to COVID issues. Talking about Tennismere, a 3-0 win against Dundee United B, goals from Nicky James and Ryan Tierney for a red card from Hutchinson. The Warriors completely in front, and an absolute stunner from Cammy Graham. So the Warriors go through comfortably. Aberdeen B won the winners against Brora Rangers. A red card, might have been about 10 men, but they've got the winning goal. East 5 beating St Johnstone B with Mercer getting the goal. 4-4 beating for Martin with Aiken getting the goal. Elgin City, a double from Kane Hester, who scored 5 goals this week, putting out Hibernian B. Stranraer and Motherwell was postponed. Well, Stranraer were given the 3-0 win because Motherwell couldn't field the team. St Mirren B knocking out Kelly Hearts on penalties, following a 1-1 draw. Tinsart and Jack getting the goals in that game. Another game on a Tuesday night was Queen's Park 1, Bunnydig Rose 1. Bunnydig Rose taking the lead through Hoskins for a goal from Gillespie for a 5-4 win on penalties. Was there any games in particular that caught your eye on the Tuesday night?
Well, I seen the boy Graham's goal and it was a belter. Any on the Tuesday night?
Yes, we'll talk about the Wednesday in a minute.
St Mirren B beating Kelty. I'm not obviously sure on St Mirren's kind of reserve / youth side, but that seems to be quite a decent result for them, considering how highly I even rate Kelty myself.
Yeah.
Technically Queen's Park as well, drawn with Bonnie Rose. I know Queen's Park still went through in penalties, but again, Queen's Park have started the league really strongly, and Bonnie Rig held them to a 1 each scoreline in the full 90 minutes. But no, I wouldn't. I'd probably just do 2 results I would say that stand out. The rest, this is the one I want to talk about the most part that you're just about to go to.
Yeah, well, in the Wednesday fixtures, Dundee B 1 period 2 goals from Payne after Panther put Dundee B in front. Brecon 1, Bucky Thistle 3, 2 Helen sides going at each other. Goals from Morrison, who then was sent off. Utcar and Murray comfortably bucky through after a goal from Bolan. Falkirk comfortably beating East Kilbride 3-0, struggling East Kilbride. An own goal from Old before a goal from Ross and Keena saw the side from Falkirk through. Broom Hill beat Clyde. A goal from Alexander was enough to see the Alloa-based Glasgow side go through. And then the two B sides, Celtic B beating Annan Athletic 2-0. Goals from O'Connor and Robertson was enough for the green side of the Old Firm B team to go through. And then the blue side beat Dumbarton 3-2. Going at their 3-0 lead before two goals from Buchanan, a goal from Buchanan and Stokes. Gave Rangers a bit of a shock towards the end, but a comfortable one nonetheless. Same question here. Any results in particular that caught your eye?
I mean, obviously Broomhill beating Clyde's a huge result, regardless of what I was saying earlier on with players resting and stuff. It's still, had that been Clyde beating Celtic and Celtic putting the reserve side out, I would have still said it was a cracking result. So yeah, Broomhill beating Clyde, and yeah, the Rangers and Dumbarton game brought up a few comments from some of my friends who got one that's a Dumbarton fan, God help him. And he turned around and explained to me that Rangers had, I think, 3 first team players playing. Well, I say 3 first team players, 3 first team squad players. Hasty, Katic, and I can't remember the other one, but I'm sure he said there was 3 in total. I could be wrong. Which, I mean, there you go. Hasty scored straight away. He shouldn't be playing at that level. He's played pretty much all his footballing career so far, even though he's a young age, and Premiership level. So for him to be putting the Rangers B-side against Dumbarton in a cup that, yes, is not worth a lot of money, but to Dumbarton it could be the difference between signing a few players the following season and not if they go far in the cup. And I think it's a bit unfair that they get put up against Premier League or higher standard than Katic.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that's.
I think the rulings does allow older players to play. I think it's only 1 or 2 over the age of 20 or 21. The Rangers did utilise that. Their Katic has just come back from an injury, so they utilise that. But of course, 1 game left in the round, the first round, I think that is. Edinburgh City versus Hearts, Midlothian B. But the next round is here. Only 2 games that have been confirmed with a time so far. Crown the South versus Broomhill will take place on the Sunday at 2 p.m. Montrose versus Stirling Albion.
I've got a time for you as well.
What?
Stranraer versus Partick Thistle is a 5 o'clock kickoff. It doesn't say it there, but it is.
On?
I want to say the 24th. When's that?
24th.
Is it the 4th? Is it the 4th?
It'd be the 4th.
September. It's the 4th. It's the day whenever Scotland play.
A 5 p.m. kickoff?
A 5 p.m. kickoff. It's all to do with we play the same day as when Scotland Day, so whenever that is. It's something to do with that. It's Scotland are playing on the same day. And that, wait a minute.
I think you're wrong there. But
I'm going to need to double check that now. Somebody said it was a 5 p.m. kickoff, and usually they don't talk all the rubbish, so that's an interesting one.
Any G11, welcome in. How you doing? You're doing this. We're talking about the Scottish Challenge Cup as Muzza tries to figure out when Partick Thistle are playing.
I know. Who cares anyway? We'll probably play our B side.
The only thing I'd say about that is I don't think it'll be a 5 p.m. kickoff just because the Scotland game is a 7:45 kickoff. So I think maybe early. But the games in the next round, we already mentioned Montrose versus Stirling Albion, which is the other kickoff. Aberdeen B versus Arbroath. Cove Rangers versus Stirling Cowden B versus Alloa Athletic. Elgin City versus Dunfermline Athletic. Inverness Caledonian Thistle versus Buckie Thistle, the Battle of the Thistles. Peterhead versus East Fife. Raith Rovers versus Forfar Athletic. Airdrieonians versus Queen's Park. Albion Rovers versus St Mirren B. Celtic B versus Greenock Morton. Hamilton Academical versus the winner of that game between Hearts and Edinburgh. Kilmarnock versus Falkirk. Rangers B versus Ayr United. And Stranraer versus Partick, with Queen of the South taking on Broomhill. But yeah, one last game I do want to talk about, which was the game which I was at today. If I can find anything about it on the Twitter. It was the South Challenge Cup from 2 seasons ago. 2 seasons ago. It took place today. If I can go find it. It's just going to be the full-time tweet, just because That's all I can find. But yeah, it's a full-time tweet. Broomhill, the 5th-tier side, took on Dunny Pace, the 7th-tier side. And Dunny Pace, convincingly, were 3-1 winners. 2 goals in the first half, put them comfortably in front before Broomhill scored just before half-time. And then in the second half, Broomhill looked to get back into the game. One of the centre-backs was sent off for a needless challenge after the keeper put them under a bit of pressure with a poor goal kick. And then Dunny Pace scored late on to win the trophy from 2 seasons ago. I don't know if you would have seen much about this, just because it was only a game it was not streamed anywhere at all. But the fact that Broomhill went from beating Clyde with a relatively weak squad to putting a full-strength team out against a side 2 tiers below them and lost convincingly isn't really a good look on them. But
cup shocks happen. That's all I'm going to say. But I don't know much about this, I'm afraid. This is a wee bit too low down for my liking. But no, the lower games are usually sometimes can be entertaining games. However, looking at Broomhill's tweet, I'm not so sure saying what I said about the 90 minutes. But it's fair play to Dunnipace for winning.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it was the most entertaining game of football because it was not the best of pitches to play on, but Broomhill just looked poor overall. The passing was poor, the defence was poor. Danny Pace, they knew what they're trying to do. Broke down Broomhill quite easily on multiple occasions. And not gonna lie, at half time they should have been 5 up. That's how bad it was. If I can find the clip, I might put a post. I don't think I'll post on Twitter, but I might send it to you, Muzza. It was ahead in the first half, which I was sitting with Shelburne and Muzza in the game. We all just looked at each other and thought, how's that not going in? The ball's came in, he's headed it. It looks like he's going in. And all of a sudden just bounces back out. So it must have clipped the post somehow and came back out. But it didn't. So Broomhill beaten. But yes, do you have any final comments in regards to that weekend or that week of Scottish football?
No, I don't think there was too much. Obviously, there would have been more to talk about last weekend, but we never done it. This weekend there was less fixtures, so yeah, and it's because we're doing it on a Sunday now. I need to up my game and watch the highlights a wee bit quicker if possible. But that's all down to the clubs and YouTube channels and stuff. But it's everybody's sitting where they deserve to be, basically.
Aye, I think that's best to say. But yeah, of course, we'll be live every Sunday, 8 PM, or most Sundays, let's just say. Hopefully, we'll both be here. If not, one of us will hopefully be streaming it. But yeah, you can find us on Twitch, twitch.tv/thecam and twitch.tv/gmuzza87. On Twitter, I am C McIntyre 99. Muzza is G Muzza Twitch on Twitter. So if you want to follow us there, feel free to. Anything else you want to say? Is that all?
No, as I said, this weekend's been a wee bit hard because there was less football. But yeah, please, like Cammie's just said, follow us, watch us, come and join the chat.
Subscribe to us on YouTube if you're watching as well.
Exactly, that's true as well. But no, definitely, the more people we have in chatting to us, the more we can obviously talk more about the football. You might be a Stranraer fan, whatever fan, you can come in and give us your views on the game, and hopefully you can let us know that Stranraer or whoever are not playing as bad as the scoreline suggests, kind of like Senhousemuir.
Yeah, so we're going to end the stream there. I'm going to go raid over to someone. I hope Muzza will do the same. I don't know if we're going to the same people. But I'm going to be raiding over to Jambo Mason, who's currently doing a wrestling podcast with Stu Simi and Kyle Watt. Of course, Jambo was involved in our quiz earlier in the week, which was won by Ben Grant. The next quiz will be back on the 30th of this month. But, I keep looking away the wrong way. Muzza will be involved in again just because he told me he'd be involved because he couldn't get involved in the first one last week. But then got involved anyway.
That's it.
But I'm going to read over to Jambo Mason. I don't know about yourself.
I think, yeah, I don't think it will be the biggest raid in the world, but yeah, I'll definitely join in.
Yeah, we'll read over to Jambo. He's just doing a wrestling podcast, so check him out. But if you're watching us on YouTube, ratings on Twitch, just so you know. But do come and check us out on Twitch and follow us on Twitter. Links in the description. Everything you need. But yeah, back live next Sunday, 8 PM for more of this. Or you can follow us on Twitter or Twitch. You'll find us live streaming, doing different stuff. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next stream.
The raid, it's over, but I only had, I did have 2 people in.